Thank you for joining me on another episode of Adventures in CNC. Today I'm working on the black walnut guitar neck that's going on the black walnut guitar. Like I said in a previous video, this is a combination of using hand tools, power tools, and the CNC machine. Because I have a small format CNC, it's a desktop CNC. So it makes doing certain jobs a little bit more difficult. With this, it's a lot easier to get really accurate results doing the truss rod route without any real problems. You can get a nice, clean, straight line, very little chip out. You don't have to sand it out or anything, which can be a real pain sometimes if you use a router and you don't have the proper router bit in it. But there's no setup or anything like that. It just takes a little bit of CNC code, and with the program that I have, it makes it super simple to do. It's not a problem at all. It doesn't take very long. The CNC actually wasn't able to route all the way to the end like I needed it to, so I had to do the end channel, which is a little bit wider. I had to do that by hand, but I think I have a workaround for that, and I'm going to try to actually build a guitar entirely on my small format CNC. And here you can see that there's major chip out on the face of the headstock, but of course I cut the face of the headstock off. I don't have video of that, but as you can see the end result. Then I used the hand router very carefully, and I finished up the rest of the channel for the truss rod. So it fits nice and snug and everything, and it came out absolutely perfect doing it on the CNC like I did. And like I said before, I think I have a way of doing it where I do it in two separate runs, and I should be able to get the thing perfectly straight. And I'm going to be doing that in an upcoming episode. Here I'm just gluing the fretboard on. I put masking tape over the truss rod so that way glue doesn't get down on the truss rod and jam it up. Just setting the truss or the fretboard down on it. I also did the fret slots on this guitar. I started them off on the CNC because I didn't have the right bit to do it with. So I just made grooves in the fretboard. Unfortunately, I didn't get video of that, but that's also a pretty easy process with the software that I use. It's also really quick to do things like that. If I had the right bit, I could do it much quicker on the CNC than I could ever do it by hand. Here I am clamping the fingerboard down. I was actually using some of my clamps on another project that I was gluing up at the same time, so I didn't have all my clamps to use. So might not have enough clamps there. But as I was saying, the gluing or slotting the fret slots with the CNC is a very quick process, and you can get them slotted to the correct depth that you need very, very easily. Like I said, it's just as simple as setting the bit depth to the right depth and then just running the program, and it's over and done with. Like I said, I used a lot of hand tools here just simply because I don't have enough experience with the CNC to actually rough in a lot of this stuff, so I use various hand tools for different jobs that I've done before by hand, and now I can get the results that I want with just simple hand tools. So that's why I did it that way. As my skills with making G-code and learning the program that I have increase, I'm going to be able to get much better results and have to do less by hand, and I'll be able to do more roughing in and maybe even finish projects on the CNC. So carving out a guitar neck, roughing it out on the CNC would be great, and then just finishing it up by hand would be really amazing. And I'm working on doing the G-code. Like I said, my CNC that I have only does about 15 inches in longitude, so it's not quite enough to do a entire guitar neck to rough it in in a single file. So I'd have to do it in two different, not necessarily passes, but just two different setups. I don't know if I'm really explaining what I want to say. Here's one of the problems with the CNC that I have occasionally when you make G-code for it. It's kind of clunky, and there was just a lot of hesitation between the passes. And it's just optimization with the G-code from the software that I use to the hardware itself. Mach 3 can be kind of clunky sometimes. The software that I use is Vectric software, Cut 2D, and it does a great job for all the projects that I've used it on. But like I said, Mach 3, the version that I have, isn't so great. There I am just finishing up the neck carve. And thanks for joining me on this episode of Adventures in CNC. I hope to see you in the next video. Please like and subscribe and leave a comment. Thank you.